Hey y'all, how are you doing? I am doing great. Thank you so much for asking. I'm back with another video. My name's Kim. Hey, how are ya? I'm just, sitting here hanging out, having fun in my house coat, trying to keep it closed. Hopefully I don't have to blur anything out in this video. So for the past few videos, I've just been doing things that are light and fun and fluffy and just not taking myself so seriously because I'm a human being and I don't want to do gloom and doom and trauma all the time. Like, I get tired and bored and sad like everybody else, but I did decide that it's time to get back to business. So this video is going to be about feminism, and there's going to be a little bit of theory in there, and celebrity and sexism and the internet and Ayesha Curry. Ayesha Curry is the wife of NBA star Steph Curry, and they all became super famous a few years ago, and Steph became a breakout star. And Ayesha really is just cute as a button. She's raising 3 cute little kids, and they all look like carbon copies of each other. And she and the rest of the women in her family, because they're all either married to NBA stars. Well, they are all married to NBA stars, which is interesting, right? That's interesting. So anyways, they sat down with Red Table Talks with Jada Pinkett Smith, who I love so much. And by the way, Red Table Talks is the best daytime TV show out. By far, The View Who, okay? It's all about Red Table Talks. But they sat down to talk about their lives as NBA players' wives and women in the spotlight. And Ayesha got some heat or started some controversy when she was really open and candid about how she doesn't like it when groupies push up on her husband.
The ladies will always be lurking,
right?
Hoping for their moment and waiting. You need to be aware of that,
right?
But for me, I honestly hate it.
And how after having 3 kids at 30 years old, which I cannot even imagine, she feels insecure because men do not push up on her the way that they push up on her husband.
Something that really bothers me and honestly has given me a sense of a little bit of an insecurity is the fact that, there are all these women throwing themselves. But me, the past 10 years, I don't have any of that. I have zero, this sounds weird, but male attention.
And I watched the interview and I just thought it was cute and fun, like all of the Red Table Talks are. And I didn't think anything of it because Ayesha Curry didn't say anything that I haven't heard from lots and lots of other women before. It seems like a really common sentiment, like a natural human emotion that, one, you're gonna feel some type of way when you have women literally throwing themselves at your partner and your partner is rich and famous and travels all around the world without you. And 2, you as a woman, as a grown-ass woman, want to feel good and sexy and desirable and you still got it. That's not, why are we even, but anyways, it became a thing. Ayesha also talked about the fact that she has anxiety and her anxiety is so severe that she takes medication for it. And to be clear, she did not link her anxiety to whatever insecurities she has about feeling hot and sexy or her husband being rubbed up on by interested women. So Ayesha lives a very atypical life. She is 10 days younger than me and she has 3 children. Girl, I could not even imagine. I couldn't imagine taking care of 3 human beings. And then she has this super famous husband and she has to run this household and she has her own businesses and she's a public personality. If I were her, I'd probably be a mess too. But of course, Twitter does what it does and took a clip from that conversation and it made the rounds and people were going in on her for these very normal human emotions. People seem to be particularly upset by Ayesha saying that she feels insecure and it really bothers her that people don't look at her as desirable and they don't approach her. And I just think that is so strange. 1, because she's a grown-ass woman. That's normal, and two, because women are socialized to find our value in how men respond to us. Now, the response to Ayesha is weird. It's just straight up strange, but it became clear to me as people were going in on her and dragging her and bringing up the fact that she takes medication, that this stuff is actually about the fact that back in 2015, she sent out this tweet. "Everyone's into barely wearing clothes these days, huh? Not my style. I like to keep the good stuff covered up for the one who matters." So yeah, people are still salty about that. You know, Twitter will make anything into a story. So that blew up. And yeah, it was a bad tweet. It was a bad tweet. We really need to let go of this idea that we need to brag about being modest or brag about covering up or judge women who don't do that. A bad tweet. Shitty take. But after that tweet, I don't remember Ayesha starting a No Whores Allowed campaign. I don't remember her starting an anti-slut walk or going around in interviews talking about how she hates naked groupie hoes. Like, I remember that tweet, and maybe there might have been one other, like, it was a tweet. Like, we are talking about a 4-year-old tweet. When I saw Ayesha in that interview talking about how she feels insecure and how she wants to, after having 3 kids and being with the same man since she was 15 years old, how she wants to feel good, I see that as an opportunity to break down, one, how women are socialized to compete with each other for male attention. Because if she is in an environment where she's standing next to her husband and a man and a woman and a groupie is trying to shimmy up, you know what I'm saying? And something goes off, right? We have to break down, what are these emotions that you're feeling? Why are you feeling them? Maybe even break down what the other party might be thinking, right? But also about how our society, our culture desexualizes women after they have children. Generally, we're told there's only one way to be sexy and moms aren't it. And there's only one way to be a good woman. And if you show any skin or if you wear your robe in a video, that you're not it, right? And that's a problem. So we should take some time to think about the psychological effects of those problems and break them down. Now, that's a conversation that can actually take us somewhere. And it's completely possible that Ayesha sent that tweet, and we're talking about a tweet. It's possible that she sent that while she was having a moment of insecurity and while maybe she just seen a woman trying to shimmy up to her husband or somebody else's husband, and she tweeted out that nonsense because it was real foolishness, right? But I'm super grossed out by feminists who decided to attack this woman after a really critical moment of public vulnerability, something that we do not see enough. It is so nasty to me to see people minimize her insecurities, to minimize her feelings, to make fun of her, to even weaponize her use of anti-anxiety medication against her, and to justify that to say, oh, well, you sent out a bad tweet 4 years ago, so you got it coming. What? Now look, I'm not mad at anybody who was upset by what Ayesha said. It was a stupid take. Honestly, that shouldn't have even made it to Twitter. Keep it in the group chat. Y'all know how group me, right? We did not need to see that because Ayesha was being a real typical pick-me. She was being a patriarchal patty, and we don't need that. We need to break it down. We need to deconstruct it, right? I'm not saying that we even always have to be nice in expressing our distaste. What I am saying is we need to make sure that our anger and our outrage is commensurate with the offense. You don't have to let Ayesha off the hook or let those ideas go unchallenged to have empathy. Life is not binary like that. It's not black or white. She clearly at that point had internalized messages about what good women do and what bad women do, as most of us have. We've all learned about what is deemed appropriate behavior for women, and it should not be too difficult for us to push back and show Ayesha that the sexism that she pushed in that tweet and those feelings of inadequacy and insecurity that she expressed in Red Table Talks are actually two sides of the same coin. It's all connected, because the same way where she feels like she needs to judge the women wearing bodycon dresses or whatever, that same sexism puts her in the mommy box. You can either embrace these strictures or you can rebel against them. But there are consequences for both of those choices. You cannot win as a woman in patriarchal society. So we just need to let patriarchy go. Feminism puts a spotlight on how our culture fails women. And I bet Ayesha probably still considers herself to be a good woman. But I still appreciate her testimony. I think that kind of vulnerability is important for women of all walks of life. But even for women who are privileged the way that Ayesha is privileged, we need for them to come out and say, look, I was told to do this, this, and this, and that I would be happy and flourishing. But it turns out that's not how it works, right? I did everything right and I'm still sad. I did everything right and I'm still miserable and I'm insecure. We need those stories too. Because women who have taken the good girl path, you know, the princess track or whatever, we need them to say to other women on that path, look, I thought it was going to be this, but it turned out to be something completely different. I thought I could follow the rules, even though I didn't make the rules, and everything would be great and perfect. But it turns out it's not great. It's not perfect. And as gross as I find that tweet, and even though I will not make any excuses for it, I also recognize that most of us are socialized to be patriarchal patties. And this woman who has been with the same man since she was 15 years old, who got married at 22 and had a baby at 23, really didn't have an opportunity to be anything other than a pick-me. She really didn't have a chance to figure out who she was, what feminism is, what it means to be independent, what it means to find yourself outside of your attachment to a man. She didn't get that. And that's why when I'm talking about Ayesha or other women like Ayesha, I choose empathy. It's easy to be snarky and mean and catty and be like, oh, well, girl, maybe if you didn't dress like Big Love, maybe men would look at you, right? Like, that stuff is easy. It's the easiest thing to be like, oh, you brought it on yourself, girl, bye. I spend a lot of time thinking about what is feminism? What are we trying to do here? What am I trying to do here? Am I a feminist because it makes me feel better about my own life choices? Or am I a feminist because I want to make a better world for women, both personally and structurally? The first part is easy. The me part, that's the easy part. But the latter part is where the actual work is. I'm a feminist, and that means that I've signed up to do some work. I'm repulsed by women who treat feminism like it's a club, like it's the popular table in Mean Girls. And social media doesn't help. Twitter encourages piling on. It encourages dragging. I mean, that's literally baked into the user interfaces. But that stuff just isn't conducive to the change that I want to see. I am very, very wary of feminist knowledge and community beginning and ending on Twitter. I just do not believe that that can take us where we need to go. There are just too many limitations to it. And I hate that people use feminism or feminist ideals as an excuse to be their meanest selves. You said something I don't like, so I'm going to drag you forever is not a tenable position. That's not a useful politic. If you were sitting in a room with someone and they said, I'm miserable, I'm sad, I have anxiety, please help me. And you said to them, well, that's what you get, bitch. Like, you would be deemed a sociopath and you would earn that designation. Who does that? But on social media, it's totally normal and encouraged. People do that stuff all the time and feel completely justified in it because they're typing it out. Like, what? I was following a conversation about this and I saw somebody say, well, Ayesha's made my life horrible growing up. And I was like, Ayesha's? We right now are talking about one person. Ayesha is not an avatar for you to project all of your emotional trauma onto. This is a real woman who has real feelings talking about her real life, and it is unreasonable for us to expect her to shoulder all that stuff. I love cultural criticism. I love pop culture commentary because it gives us an opportunity to think deeply about subjects that are very accessible to us. But we have to do our own work to process our traumas. We can't use people and places and things that we don't know to process our traumas. That could be a starting point. It could be a jumping off point. But that is not where the real emotional work is. And I understand that everybody does not have access to therapy, that we don't have access to the mental health care that we need. But we still got to be reasonable. One thing I've learned is it's not even worth it to go back and forth with people who are just determined to drag, you know? Like, if you are set on a drag, you're going to do it. There's nothing that I can say to you to talk you out of it, because dragging is not even really about the subject of the drag. It's about personal catharsis. It is about individual release. And if you need that, nobody is going to be able to say, whoa, calm down. You're just going to have to do it. But I'm no longer fulfilled by that. I've been there and I've done it. I guess, it's just a byproduct of getting older, of being on the internet for so long, of being, the subject of draggings. It's just not where I want to be. So I'm just at a point where, we need criticism. We do. We don't need to let people completely evade responsibility. Accountability is an essential part of building a community. But even when I am critical, I go out of my way to avoid the drag. I go out of my way to avoid unnecessary cruelty because I recognize that individual catharsis is not a solution. That's not problem solving. It's not building. It's barely work. And that's why I do center empathy in my political practice. That is a central component of my feminism. And I do choose to offer kindness where appropriate, not all the time, girl. Everybody's not getting a handshake. But I try to go there first. And I know that that's not like the coolest thing. It's not particularly in vogue. We're supposed to go for the drag. We're supposed to be reading people and seek revenge and protect our space. And I'm not here to teach you and educate you or whatever. But I want to do what makes me feel good. I want to do what makes me feel healthy and whole. But I also want to do what works. I'm on the record as being anti-cancellation. It's not something I'm into. I believe that the vast majority of offenders can be rehabilitated. And I think that is an important ethic to have because people got to go somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Just because somebody does something bad don't mean that we banish them from, they're there. They're still there. So I do think that reconciliation and rehabilitation are really critical, particularly in a culture that incentivizes disposal. So when we're talking about continuing to drag a woman over a tweet from 2015, girl, no. No. That's not the energy that I want. So keep that away from me. Ayesha is not the problem. It didn't start or begin with her. She is a product of a culture that gives women a limited set of options. She's dealing with the same stuff the rest of us are dealing with. She just happens to be unlucky enough to be doing it in public. That's also why I have no desire to drag pick-me's anymore. It was fun for a minute, but now I just think it's so lazy. And also, it does fail to recognize that most of us are closer to that ideology than we want to let on. Yeah, I know a lot of women who are feminists in the streets, but pick me in the sheets, and we're all trying to perform good feminism and, we don't need no men and whatever, and men are shit, we're performing that stuff, but we're still afraid of being unchose. We're afraid of being unattractive. We want to be beautiful. We want to be partnered. Okay? That is some real stuff that heterosexual women have to tease out. And we're taught that the only way to get the lives that we want is to become a patriarchal patty. And so we try to scoop up those little rewards that they're offered. And sometimes, for some people, those rewards are big. I still think that they are fleeting. But some people do get what they want. And That is what we are really battling against. How do we deconstruct all of this stuff that says that I'm competing with you when some women are actually winning in that system? That's the stuff I think about. So no, I'm just not going to be involved in beating down another woman in the name of feminism. Like, what sense does that make? It just don't make sense for me to be attacking you when you're hurting from the same stuff that's hurting me. It doesn't make sense to my mind. It's not a good use of my time or my resources. My time and my resources are going to be put into theorizing and building a world that we can actually live in peacefully. All that other stuff, no, it's not for me. It's not for me. Well, that's all I have to say about that. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you enjoy the stuff that I say here, sign up for the Patreon. That's where I do all of my bonus content. It's all kind of stuff over there. And I'm actually taking all sorts of suggestions for Patreon content. So let me know. Send me an email, send me a Twitter DM or an Instagram DM. Leave a comment. Let me know what you want to see. I appreciate y'all for giving me the space to work through this stuff. I'm flawed. Y'all are flawed. We're all flawed. We're just trying to get to some answers. Hopefully one day that'll happen. Okay, yeah, that's it. Thank you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.